and welcome. You're watching the 7 o'clock news on CNC3. I'm Ria Rambley.
I'm Ryan Bateshoe.
Hi, I'm Jassim Marik with Sport. Sigoni Mohammed joins us later in the newscast.
Let's tell you what's making the news tonight. Tunapuna Corporation stops construction of a new police post at Etihad. The PM puts the blame on PNM operatives.
Female SRP among 7 held on PDOs for her alleged role as a gang informant. Satan is also detained.
Tobago's leaders call for calm as concerns grow over racial rhetoric across the country.
Ahead in sport, the medal count climbs in Santo Domingo with CSC Games bronze for Aaron Charles in the men's 200.
Top of the news, work has been halted on one of the first joint police and army posts at the Etihad grounds after the Tunapuna Regional Corporation said it was left out of the process.
But in a Facebook post today, the Prime Minister chastised the corporation for stopping the construction, saying, quote, "The opposition wickedly sent their corporation representatives to chase away workers. By doing so, the Prime Minister said, the opposition showed their hatred to the citizens of Tunapuna and called for the opposition to, quote, stop doing the bidding of the local drug mafia and start putting citizen safety first," end quote. Chairman of the corporation, Josiah Austin, earlier told CNC3 News they are not against the construction, but said starting construction without even a conversation was disrespectful. He explained that workers showed up at the recreational grounds and began construction on the northwestern end of the park. When officials from the corporation sought answers, the workers told them that work was ordered by a SWAT unit of the Homeland Security Ministry. Austin says no one spoke to or wrote to the corporation prior to the construction.
We've already had some systems in place where security and safety is concerned, and that could be married with what is being done there. But the announcement came with a surprise, and then now, right after, is construction, and no word to the corporation. Is quite disrespectful, and we are not here to put a spoke or stymie any progress where security and safety of our bridges is concerned.
In a WhatsApp response to CNC3 News, Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander questioned how a SWAT department became part of a Homeland Security Ministry and also shared a video of construction of another post at the Grand Bazaar interchange.
Meanwhile, PNM Chairman Marvin Gonzalez is calling on the Prime Minister to tone down what he describes as her nasty, foul, divisive and inflammatory language. Gonzalez was responding to the accusations made by the Prime Minister over the police post in Tunapuna. He says the focus should instead be on whether the necessary consultations and approvals were obtained before any building or structure was constructed at the facility. Gonzalez is questioning whether the relevant corporation or council was consulted and whether local government regulations were followed. He says the Prime Minister and her government cannot engage in what he calls disrespectful behavior and then, quote, play victim when challenged.
A woman special reserve police officer is among 7 people held under a preventive detention order.
Authorities allege Janessa Joseph is linked to the Pegasus organized crime group, providing transportation and leaking information on police operations. Intelligence also linked her to recent homicides, armed robberies in Separia, and plans for further gang-related firearm attacks. Officials say the detention order was issued to disrupt those activities and prevent any threat to public safety. Others detained include alleged Grim 7 gang leader Clayton Harewood, who also goes by the name Satan. Police claim Harewood directed gang operations and ordered members to prepare for violent attacks in the coming weeks. PDOs were also issued for alleged Pegasus gang leader Treston Pegasus, along with Benisa Hazard and Harlan Adams, who investigators claim helped finance, transport, and support the group's activities. 2 other men, Kasim Sampson and Spencer J. Revelak, were detained over intelligence linking them to the illegal firearms trade.
A man and woman have been charged with the murder of 25-year-old Cheyenne Ruiz, who was killed during an alleged dispute in Chaguanas last week. Police say Ruiz had gone to her former boyfriend's home at Edinburgh 500 to collect $4,500 she was owed when an argument broke out. She was stabbed multiple times before the couple allegedly fled the scene. Both were arrested hours later and formally charged today. Ruiz's relatives say they are relieved that charges have now been laid. Government is not revealing much about its proposed law for citizens 16 years and over to have a valid form of ID in their possession while in public spaces.
However, the opposition warns that such laws have led to governments being chased out of office. Meanwhile, a criminologist suggests that ID card legislation must be enforced responsibly or else it can infringe on citizens' rights.
Akash Samaru has more.
While the government has put its proposed ID card requirement law on the table, it is keeping its cards close to its chest on the details.
Under review. It's under review, so I want to hear what are your thoughts on it?
At this time, that matter, we are not going to comment until a final decision and so on is being made on it.
But given the potential impact of such a law requiring people 16 years and over to have a form of ID on them at all times, we pushed for more.
You know that deliberations of cabinet are confidential.
Yeah. Okay, so no we'll update you on the time, Rich. No worries. Anything else?
The Attorney General, meanwhile, said he is out of the country and will need to find out more before responding to our questions. Chief among our queries, what's the punishment for not having your ID on you? But in the meantime, the opposition leader has some concerns.
That was one of the pieces of legislation that caused a government to lose elections.
Backles was referring to the UK's Conservative government that introduced those mandatory voter ID rules and was voted out in the July 2024 UK general election. Backles believes the government owes the population an explanation on the rationale for this proposed law and how this harmonizes with the government's intention to legally raise the age to drink and gamble.
The fact is that there are too many proposals of this government that is left hanging. And I ask the question, as I do from time to time, did you have consultation with anybody?
And criminologist Dr. Randy C. Prasad is saying while he can see the benefits for law enforcement, especially if the drinking age is raised, he said the government must balance its proposed mandatory ID law with citizens' rights and everyday realities.
Because if it becomes an offense to not have an identification in public, then you could end up criminalizing people simply because they forgot to carry their ID card or they're carrying an expired ID card.
Dr. C. Prasad said he is curious to know what the provisions of the law are before supporting the proposed legislation. Akash Samaru, CNC3 News.
Well, with the government proposing legislation that would make it mandatory for all citizens aged 16 and over to carry a valid form of identification in public spaces, we asked whether you support such a move.
Here's what some of you had to say.
No, because sometimes you lost your purse. Some big meters lost my purse. Sometimes you lost your ID card. I have a 15-year-old. She's not going and walk with no ID card, so most 16-year-olds still going to school. So why would they walk with an ID card to even go to school?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because you wouldn't get in any difficulty with the police or anybody that stop you, Or anything happen, you always have your ID on you to identify you.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because if anything happen to anybody, you have something on you to identify the person, who they is. And you know who they belong to or wherever, so you could always get on to the person, family or wherever.
Yes. Well, it is important because, sometimes you might go places and you might need to show identification to enter. Sometimes you might need identification to purchase stuff and all too as well. So it is important.
No, I don't think so. I find no.
Why?
Because at least 18 years and over, not 16. I find it's too young to be walking around with the ID card, even though it is allowed to have ID cards at 15 years old, but I don't think they should.
Yes. In case of emergency, you go here, they would need an ID.
Still to come in the news, massive land clearing from St. Madlin to Picton raises questions over the future of the former sugar lands. Residents demand to know what's coming next.
San Juan Laventille Regional Corporation assured it will remain at MTS Plaza as lease negotiations continue.
Coming up in sport, similar philosophies bring BPTT and the TKR together for CPL 2026.
We finally said yes to onion rings. Now it's your turn to say yes to the new KFC onion ring chicken sandwich for $34.95 or get a regular side of rings for just $15. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
The Chief Secretary is warning that Trinidad and Tobago risks tearing itself apart if rising racial tensions continue unchecked.
Farley Augustine joined religious leaders in Tobago for an urgent call for unity amid an increasingly heated national debate. Stephen Nicholas was there.
Only Trinidad and Tobago could destroy Trinidad and Tobago.
This was a stark warning from Chief Secretary Farley Augustine as he cautioned that escalating racial tensions could spiral into national instability if left unchecked. Augustine joined religious leaders at an urgent meeting at the Lowlands Masjid in Tobago to condemn the growing rhetoric as a threat to national unity. The meeting comes amid tensions over a leaked phone call in which a racial slur was used to describe the Prime Minister. Since then, the Prime Minister has repeated the term on social media as the PNM and UNC trade blame over divisive rhetoric. Augustine noted that racial conflict can negatively affect the economy by deterring tourists and investor confidence. While acknowledging racism does exist, Augustine believes citizens become conveniently racist when it comes to politics.
We have to get to the place where we appreciate that we have differing political views, that we have different methodologies to achieve sometimes the same goals, that we vote differently, we like different colors, that we were raised in some instances culturally different to our neighbors, but that should not stop us from achieving unity.
Augustine was asked whether he intends to voice his concerns with the Prime Minister.
There might be something I might need to pray about, but I operate from a political place of minding my business.
Muslim community leader Camille Ali is urging all leaders to take the responsibility and de-escalate the situation.
When you are in a leadership position and when you behave in that way, and when you carry on, what is going to happen? People are going to follow suit. So the comments are going to be there, because if you look at all the comments on Facebook and all the media, it's really, really terrible.
Tobago Hindu Society Treasurer Devika Sami believes tensions had been brewing for a long time as she appealed for honest conversations and healing to lower the temperature. Stefan Nicholas, CNC3 News.
ASHA is condemning what it calls a rise of racial narratives across social media and other platforms, warning that racism and discrimination have no place in TNT. In a statement today, ASHA says it has always worked with government, civil society, and other groups to promote respect, equality, and democratic values regardless of race, politics, or economic status. Citing teachings from the Quran and Prophet Muhammad, the religious organization says all people are equal before God and should be judged by their character and actions.
Rural Development and Local Government Minister Khadija Amin is once again assuring workers of the National Program for the Upkeep of Public Spaces that their outstanding salaries will be paid soon. It follows a similar assurance 2 weeks ago. For weeks, NPOP's workers have complained that despite continuing to work, they have not been paid. The opposition also called on the government to settle the outstanding wages. Addressing their concerns during a cleanup exercise at the Barataria South Secondary School today, Amin explained that the delay is the result of an administrative issue that's being resolved.
It is not the fault of the workers or the supervisors. What I have done is engage a company to provide services to do the payroll management so that it doesn't rely on, where it's subjective to human error. And some of these workers had about 5 fortnights outstanding. We have cleared that backlog, so some of them might have 1 or 2 fortnights, but I still continue to pay individual attention.
Beyond the pay delays, workers also complained about the lack of adequate personal protective equipment. They told the minister that just this week 2 female workers suffered minor injuries after being struck by vehicles while on the job. Minister Amin assured them that they will be looking into sourcing more PPE gear for the workers. Meanwhile, the minister said there is still plenty of work for NPOP's crews to do, as she is hopeful the program will continue beyond its September 13th end date. Her comments come after Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander said prison labor would be used to replace programs like NPOPs. However, Amin said both programs can operate alongside each other.
Listen, it have real grass to cut, There's no competition. It have real grass to cut. We have proven that NPOPs works. Our NPOPs workers have shown their performance. And in various ministries, you have a lot of ministries who do this type of maintenance work. You have MTS in the schools. You have Ministry of Works doing the highways and those major water courses where you have same thing workers cutting grass. So there is need to continue to have that kind of maintenance.
The minister said cleanup exercises are continuing in constituencies where MPs have requested NPOP's crews. She added that the work is ongoing and assured communities that if their area has not yet been targeted, crews will get there as the exercise continues.
Government says the Juan Laventille Regional Corporation will be allowed to remain at MTS Plaza. The line minister, Khadija Amin, says state-owned MTS has agreed to keep the corporation at its Arangwes main road location while lease negotiations continue. Amin says the immediate threat of eviction has been addressed while a meeting is being arranged between the ministry, MTS and the corporation to work out a new lease. Amin says she hopes the corporation can stay at its current location to avoid disrupting workers and the public.
We are in the process of renegotiating the lease with the view that the best option is for them to stay there. Let me give you the assurance, our Laventille will not be homeless under the UNC. We will fix what the PNM neglected. However, I feel it will be less disruptive if Sawa Laventille Corporation stays at MTS Plaza because the citizens are accustomed to going there for services.
Amin has blamed the previous PNM administration for the corporation's current situation, saying its lease with MTS was not renewed under former local government minister Kazim Hussein, leaving it without a secure tenancy. The corporation's chairman, Richard Walcott, previously told CNC3 News the workers are ready to vacate the Arangwes Plaza, accusing MTS of failing to properly maintain the building, citing air conditioning problems, termites, and other maintenance issues. Efforts to get a response from MTS on the lease negotiations were unsuccessful. Meanwhile, the Estate Police Association is taking legal action against MTS, claiming that $82,000 in membership dues deducted from officers' salaries were never remitted.
The association says the alleged failure has disrupted access to the Millennium Insurance Brokers Security Officers health plan, leaving some officers and retirees without the CariCare card facility and forced to pay medical expenses up front. EPA President Derek Richardson says the matter has persisted for years despite repeated attempts to resolve the issue with MTS management and other authorities. The company, however, says the dispute comes against a background of broader financial challenges, including difficulties collecting outstanding arrears from clients. Acting CEO Nicholas Kanhai says MTS has been working to recover those funds so it can meet its obligations, including employee deductions.
The challenges are well deliberated in the Joint Select Committee of Parliament, where MTS will represent the financial status of the company, and one of those challenges are its ability to collect its arrears over the last couple of years. It's not a today's problem. The board has continued to do its due diligence, and they continue to instruct the executive management of the company to do its reconciliation of all arrears for all clients.
Kanhai says the company has also engaged the EPA and the Transport and Industrial Workers Union, assuring both groups that MTS is working to collect sufficient arrears to meet salaries and employee deductions.
The EPA maintains that the issue is not simply a financial challenge, but a failure to remit funds deducted from officers, and says it will proceed with legal action to recover the money.
Opposition leader Penelope Beckles is accusing the government of failing to protect jobs, warning that as many as 300 Hilton Trinidad employees could soon be out of work if uncertainty surrounding the hotel's lease is not resolved.
At an opposition media briefing today, Beckles called on the Prime Minister and the Trade, Investment and Tourism Minister Satyakama Maharaj to tell the country where negotiations stand. Beckles said the Hilton uncertainty comes against a backdrop of worsening unemployment. She cited CSO figures showing 5,900 jobs were lost between the final quarter of 2025 and the first quarter of this year, while unemployment climbed from 4.3 to 5.4%.
Because the time will come very soon, we're going to have local elections. And I hope you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, will remember what this Prime Minister and what this UNC government thinks of you. And I want to link that to what is happening to Hilton, where it is likely that 300 people will be out of jobs. The Prime Minister must tell us, and the Minister of Trade, what is the status of the renewal of the lease for Hilton.
She said the government's handling of employment and national security will be judged by voters, warning that citizens will remember these issues when they return to the polls.
On the business front, BP is deepening its investment in Trinidad and Tobago's energy sector as the energy giant has agreed to acquire Woodside Energy's 70% interest in the offshore Calypso gas project.
And in other business news, government says negotiations surrounding the future of Hilton Trinidad are at an advanced stage. Geisha Kalasa Alonso has the details in tonight's Business Watch.
BP has agreed to acquire Woodside Energy's 70% stake in Block TTDAA-14, home to this country's Calypso gas project offshore. The deal will increase BP's ownership of the project from 30% to 100%, making the company the sole owner and operator. Calypso is an early-stage deep-water natural gas development located off Trinidad's east coast. The acquisition builds on BP's extensive presence in Trinidad and Tobago, where it is the country's largest supplier of natural gas and a major shareholder in the Atlantic LNG facility. Energy analyst Dax Driver welcomed the announcement.
The project's going to take a while to deliver, but when it does, obviously that will mean more gas through Atlantic. So there's the revenue which comes through that, and obviously some level of upstream taxation as well, which the government will collect the taxes at the wellhead with the Calypso project.
And former Energy Minister Carolyn Sipasad Bajan agrees the acquisition is a positive development.
The encouraging news is that BP is already Trinidad and Tobago's largest natural gas producer, with extensive offshore infrastructure and decades of operational experience. Consolidating ownership under BP should improve commercial alignment and increase confidence that the project can move forward.
In other business news, Line Minister for the Evolving Technologies and Enterprise Development Company Limited, or ETEC, Saddam Hussein, says discussions between Hilton and ETEC are progressing, with an announcement expected soon.
I think those negotiations are very advanced. Hilton had some legal requirements, because I think we have to be very clear on this matter, that the current workers at that facility are workers employed with the Hilton brand, not ETEC. How the arrangement is that the facility, which is the hotel itself, and the lands are leased by the state to ETEC, and then a sublease is issued from ETEC to Hilton.
The minister also stressed that the government is seeking to protect the interest of the country, hotel employees, and taxpayers.
The last administration indicated that there was a $400 million property improvement program for investing in terms of the upgrade of the facility. When I went in there, I saw no details of that, how they're going to fund it and so on. They left us in this particular position, and we are here once again. We now have to come and fix another one of the issues that they have left.
And now for a look at today's energy and forex prices. Geisha Kaulesa Alonso, CNC3 Business Watch.
Still to come in the news tonight, thousands are answering the call to serve as the police recruitment drive continues to draw huge crowds.
Today's weather stayed mostly quiet, but a tropical wave could be lining up to change the forecast. More after the break.
Need to open a bank account? There's no time to make the drive to stand in line. Get ready. Opening an account with Republic On Board is easy from anywhere at any time, even while waiting for a food order. So you don't have to skip lunch. Republic On Board. Fast, easy, secure. Visit www.republiconboard.com to open your account today.
KC Gingermint, your trusted and natural wellness. Now with healthier options. KC Gingermint with honey and lime. KC Gingermint with orange and KC Gingermint with lemon. KC Ginger, honey, lemon, lime, and orange. Natural and trusted for generations for soothing sore throats and digestion and boost immunity. Get your new KC Candy Gingermint extended range today and breathe naturally.
Nature's Ways Alive Kids Gummies are multivitamin gummies meant to support the development of children's bodies like their bones, muscles, joints, brain, heart, and also their immune health. Choose Alive Kids Gummies by Nature's Way because they deserve it.
Textbooks, screens, late nights. Your eyes work hard through every class, exam, project, and deadline. Ferrara Optical has eyewear specifically designed to reduce eye strain so nothing holds your learning back. For a limited time, youth get a free frame with lenses from just $495. Scholars get frame and lenses starting at only $750. And lifelong learners save up to 30% off your purchase of advanced lenses like Eisen and Transitions. Less strain, more focus, your vision without limits. Visit Ferrara Optical in store today. This promotion is NLCB approved.
Welcome back. Former sugarcane lands stretching from St. Madlin to Picton are being cleared, sparking questions about what the government has planned for the area.
Some residents believe the site could be for the proposed artificial intelligence data center, while others think it may be housing or agriculture.
But they all agree on one thing. They want answers. Radhika De Silva and Ivan Tulsi visited the area for this story.
It's very hard for single parents, and they say no can name the CPAP and the URP, but we was working honestly, and we sure when the fortnight come we still get a salary and have something. No, we don't have no income. No matter how small the money was, we used to get something.
Salisha Khan says she and her sisters turned to squatting on state lands after losing their CPAP jobs. But now they're worried months of hard work on these crops could be wiped out as the government proceeds with a massive land clearing exercise between St. Madlin and Picton, which has left residents concerned. These lands were once owned by Caroni 1975 Limited, and it stretches from St. Madlin to Picton. And from this hillside, the expanse of work being done is impossible to miss. The rolling hills, once covered in thick vegetation, cleared down by tractors. Farmer Karen Betty says workers on the site told residents the data center would be built there.
The first guy that I speak to, well, he has some kind of say or something up here. He says AI, right? The AI center coming, right? He said when that come here, they're going to be making a real noise in we head.
Last month, Public Utilities Minister Barry Padarath revealed that the proposed artificial intelligence data centers linked to the MOUs signed with the United States will be built in the Special Economic Zone in Davie, which is more than a mile away from where these lands are being cleared. But President of Ridgewood Gardens Community Group, Deborah Lewis-Diaz, says while people are not against development, they deserve answers.
The residents are a bit nervous. Is it data center? Is it phase 3? We just want to know. People want just to be comfortable where they live, to know that they're not in any immediate danger.
And she had this message for the Prime Minister.
I think the government should come out and say something. Don't have the residents ifing and alleging and some lying and covering. So let's come out.
Yet not everyone is opposed to the possibility of a data center.
I don't know what the project is about, but if it's the AI center, I will be pleased and happy. But the mere fact that it will provide employment, and this area has some youths who need employment.
CNC3 News reached out to Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar, Minister Padarath, Urupuch East MP Dr. Rudal Munilal, and Minister of Public Administration and Artificial Intelligence Dominic Smith to get answers. We are still awaiting responses. Radhika De Silva, CNC3 News.
Well, a short while ago, Minister of Land and Legal Affairs Saddam Hussein responded to our questions, saying the lands situated at Pittimon are being developed into residential lots for former Caroni workers who he said were denied their dues under the PNM.
Constable Rommel Douglas was given a military send-off today at the Morvar Central Community Centre.
Only close friends and family were allowed to pay tribute to the murdered father of 3. No media were allowed inside. Douglas was fatally shot during what investigators said was an attempted robbery in Caroni last Tuesday. The 48-year-old was off duty at the time. His brother, Michael Douglas, presented the eulogy. Members of the police service, according to the program, were allowed to give words of comfort to the family. Neither Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara nor other TTPS executive members attended the funeral. Before he was killed, Douglas managed to fatally wound one of his attackers. Police say the hunt continues for the other 2 suspects. Well, despite the dangers and challenges associated with being a police officer, applicants say they are willing to serve.
1,950 applicants showed up at the police academy today for the north leg of the TTPS's recruitment drive. More than 4,700 people have attended the drive since it started on Monday in South Trinidad. With crime as one of the most pertinent national issues, some applicants told us they are not deterred.
Well, my dad had told me tell me about the dangers of it and stuff, but you know, it had dangers in everything in life. You just had to trust God, put your best foot forward again, and you know, you had to go with it one day at a time. My mother actually don't really like it as much. She doesn't say dangerous, but as I say, I just trust God, and if I get you this, that means God have a plan for me.
My mom will tell me, she'll be like, this job is a dangerous job, are you sure you want to do it? And I'll be like, yes it is. I feel like that's a part of me.
Acting Assistant Superintendent of the Police Academy, Gershad Grant, tells CNC3 News, seeing a large number of young people applying is encouraging.
I am seeing that the young people are engaging us, and we are welcoming them. So I think although it is saying that the police service is getting licks, but based on the young person's perception and their attendance here, the evident attendance, I think it's just a matter of personal opinion.
The recruitment drive ends tomorrow in Tobago.
Orion, today was another hot and mostly sunny day, but we're hearing about a change coming to the forecast.
Let's check in with Sigoni to find out what that means for your outdoor plans tomorrow.
Right, guys, so we are expecting a tropical wave, but you know not all tropical waves are created equal. And this one looks more like a reminder that it's passing by than a reason to cancel your outdoor plans. So here's what we're working with at this time. We have this weak tropical wave that is moving westward into the region, but it's a rather moisture-starved system. So it's not expected to bring widespread rainfall. At the same time, there's a relatively mild concentration of Saharan dust that remains across the islands, and we also have showers shallow low-level cloud patches that continue to move through on a moderate easterly breeze. The result, a fairly dry day with more sunshine than rain expected. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves and we zoom in on Trinidad and Tobago, we had repeat weather today with just a few light sprinkles. For tonight, we do expect generally fair, even mostly clear conditions, with only the odd isolated shower passing through. And our temperatures will remain warm around the mid-20s. Into tomorrow's forecast, it will be generally sunny, hazy, and breezy across both islands. But what we're seeing here is that in Trinidad, a few showers could become more likely during the evening and nighttime period, with a low chance of an isolated thunderstorm, particularly across southern areas. If you're in Tobago, we do expect 1 or 2 showery spells, mainly from mid-afternoon, but otherwise conditions remain generally warm and sunny. A relatively mild concentration of Saharan dust will also continue to create slightly hazy skies, although sunshine will dominate for much of the day. Now, if you're sensitive to changes in air quality and thinking that a beach run might do you some good, know that seas right now do remain moderate in the open waters, with swells gradually increasing. Overall, marine conditions remain generally favorable, but marine users, you should still continue monitoring conditions, as the passing tropical wave could produce localized gusty winds and maybe a slight chop near any showers that do develop. So while a weak tropical wave is passing through, it's a rather weak one again, I must say that, and it means that sunshine and heat still takes over for most of us. That's your forecast, and that's it from me.
All right, thank you so much, Sigoni. Well, still to come in the news, the countdown to the new school term is on, but concerns remain over readiness and book grant payments.
School closed and traffic light, so your house could finally get some attention. And at ABC Doors and Windows, our regular prices going on vacation too. From July 25th to August 8th, shop our mid-year home upgrade sale and enjoy a minimum 10% off store-wide. Get 10% off wooden doors, steel security doors and locks, 15% off windows, quartz countertops and aluminum sliding doors, and 20% off SPC flooring. Before the back-to-school rush starts, upgrade for less at ABC Doors and Windows, number 1 Chanca Trace, El Socorro South.
Adventure, discovery, and relaxation await you at La Vega Estate. Open daily, including weekends and public holidays. There's something for everyone. Right into excitement on daily ATV tours with beginner to advanced options for ages 16 and up. Join knowledgeable guides for wildlife, ecology, and origin tours, spotting animals in their natural habitat. Kids can enjoy sensory tours too. Unwind at the nature park and pools. Then visit our well-stocked garden center. La Vega Estate. Experience it all.
You can make your goals unfold, go get it. You can live your dream, join the team, let's do this. You can get the help you need to succeed with Rand Credit Union. You can believe that you can achieve big goals, small ones too. Rand Credit Union, we've got you. No more waiting, that won't do. Make someday today. One life, so make it good. Live the way you know you should. With Rand Credit Union, yes you could. Make someday today.
Live your best life today with Rand Credit Union.
Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in Trinidad and Tobago, driven by 2 silent threats, diabetes and high cholesterol. But now there's a powerful ally, introducing Berberine Plus by Asia Nutrition, clinically proven to stabilize blood sugar and keep cholesterol levels in check. With 99.9% pure extract, you get superior absorption and real results. Available now at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus. Your heart deserves better.
Welcome back. The domestic Airbridge was busy during the July vacation period, with more than 66,000 passengers traveling between Trinidad and Tobago.
That's right, Ria. Caribbean Airlines says 66,814 people used the service last month after it added extra flights to meet increased demand. The airline says the Airbridge remains critical to tourism in Tobago, as well as the economy, helping more vacationers, business travelers and residents between the islands. And the state-owned carrier confirmed additional flights on the domestic Airbridge for the rest of the month. The August schedule enhancement will provide 2,856 additional seats. And with less than a month before students return to the classroom, former Education Minister Dr. Nian Gatsby-Dolly is questioning whether schools are truly ready.
At an opposition news conference today, Gatsby-Dolly claimed critical student support services have been weakened, leaving schools without enough guidance counselors, social workers, psychologists, and special education professionals. The former minister is also seeking answers about the government's school book grant program. She noted that thousands of parents have already applied and says many are anxious to know when funds will be distributed ahead of the September school reopening.
What was said in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago is that no money was allocated to the book grant in the budget of September 2025, and the allocation would only have come in the midterm. And so if the applications only started in June of 2026, then the question we are asking of the Ministry of Education, what is the progress with the book grant?
Well, CNC3 News is awaiting a response from Education Minister Dr. Michael Dolat on the claims made by the former minister.
Plans for a new fire station in San Juan have moved a step closer, with a cabinet note prepared to facilitate the transfer of state land for the project. The update comes from the San Juan Business Association as renovation work continues at the existing fire station. Association President Abraham Ali says the cabinet note will allow the former URP building site to be transferred to the Ministry of Homeland Security. He says the move would pave the way for the construction of a new strategically located fire station.
Well, I'll tell you what has happened with some information coming to the San Juan Business Association is that a cabinet note was developed to get the transfer of the land where it is now housing the URP building, and we want to transfer it to the Ministry of National Security so that we could assist.
Ali welcomed the renovation works but stressed that they should be viewed as a temporary measure, with the association continuing its push for a modern fire station capable of serving San Juan, Barataria, St. Joseph and parts of Mova. The association has identified the Mount Hope intersection where the Uriah Butler Highway meets the Eastern Main Road as its preferred location for a new facility.
All right, well, it's now time for sport, and a few sporting role models are home from the CAC Games, Jassy, and already inspiring the next generation.
Yeah, armed with their brand new CAC medals, swimmers Nikolai Blackman, Zarek Wilson and Liam Carrington dropped by to inspire the TNT Goodwill swim team. And the soca warrior Tyrese Spicer is among the goals again for Orlando City. We'll have more after the break.
Party in sport is back. Catch every TKR match live and exclusively on CNC3, August 7th through September 20th. You don't want to miss the action. The Republic Bank CPL 2026 only on CNC3. Passion, energy, and cricket live here. Brought to you by
Visit Tire Clinic Marketing, New Truck and OTR Tire Service Center at number 30 and 32 Montrose Main Road, Chaguanas. Call today at 665-8973 or 672-3419. Alignment services available. Tire Clinic Marketing, Truck and OTR Service Center. A tire for every need.
Welcome back. It's time for sport now, and make that 19 medals for Team TTO at this year's CAC Games. This after sailing and athletics enjoyed success on day 18. Aaron Charles came into the men's 200-meter final in Santo Domingo as the 6th fastest qualifier. But as you and I both know, once into a final, anything can happen. As the field cleared the bend, the Trinidad and Tobago sprinter was in danger of missing out on a medal. But Charles worked his way back gradually and dipped at the line in 20.63 seconds to hang on to the bronze. Puerto Rico's Jose Figueroa went sub-20, winning gold in 19.98. Alexander Ogando of the Dominican Republic settled for silver in 20.47. In single women's dinghy sailing, Kellyanne Arundel snapped up a silver, amassing 25 points across 12 races. Venezuela's Daniela Rivera claimed the gold, with bronze going to Ana Sofia Bermudez from Colombia. Back to the track, Nicholas Lando was in semi-final 2 in the men's 800, but could not keep abreast of the leading pack, finishing down in 5th. But his time of 1 minute 49.58 seconds was one of 2 fastest losing times from that heat, as he and 4th placed Puerto Rican Nicholas Schultz advanced. The top 3 were the Dominican Republic's Ferdy Agramonte, Panama's Shamar Chambers, and Jose Maita of Venezuela. Kishon Walcott was the defending champion in the men's javelin, but was always playing catch-up in this year's final, never able to put together a satisfactory throw. His best of 82.92 meters left him in 4th. The event was won by Grenada's Anderson Peters with a winning heave of 83.95. Costa Rica's Ivan Sabaha claimed silver with 82.15, and the bronze went to Colombia's Julio Billy. TNT's netballers keep on rolling at this year's CAC. It's 4 wins now in 4 matches, following today's demolition of Bermuda. Well, a bit further afield, Omari Brown and Zachary Frank are among the Trinidad and Tobago athletes moving forward at the World Athletics Under-20 Championships in Eugene, Oregon. Here's what transpired on day 2.
Omari Brown
was Trinidad and Tobago's only representative in the men's 400-meter hurdles in Eugene, Oregon, and overcame a bit of a mid-race wobble in lane 2 before recovering along the home straight to surge to 3rd in heat number 4. He earns an automatic place in Saturday's final in a time of 51.50 seconds behind Jamaica's Giovanni Tyrell and Chechia's Marek Vanya. A tough lane 8 assignment for Zachary Frank in the men's 400-meter flat.
This time they're away. And
the Trinidad and Tobago athlete made up the stagger impressively by the time they came off the first bend, and coming off the final one, he was in the fray. His time of 46.61 placed him 3rd for an automatic spot in the semis. Ghana's Godfred Opoku stole the first spot in 46.05 seconds, and Barbadian Shamari Greenwich-Lewis took the other in 46.34. Frank's teammate Kyle Alexander was well down the field in heat number 6 in the men's 400, 8th in a time of 48.99 seconds, not good enough to move on. In the women's version, Kayla Charles finished in a distant 8th herself, clocking 55.89 in her heat, and does not move beyond round 1. Teammate Kaya Hyson was also down the field in her heat. 57.58 seconds placed her in 9th position, when only the top 3 moved on automatically to the semi-finals. Triple jumper Cristiano Perez could not hop, skip and jump his way into the final, fouling twice and measuring a best jump of 15.02 meters to finish 14th in Group A and 27th overall, where only the top 12 advanced. On Wednesday night, Imani Mills bowed out in the semi-final round of the women's 100. Mills faded after a good start in lane 1, placing 8th in 11.67 seconds. In heat number 3, Alexi Henry also finished 8th in lane 3 in 11.61 seconds. Tough luck to those athletes. Now, Trinidad and Tobago's men's hockey team returned home this afternoon after capturing a silver medal at the 2026 Central American and Caribbean Games in Santo Domingo. The Calypso Stickmen played unbeaten to reach the final before falling narrowly to Cuba 2-1 on penalties after a thrilling 2-all draw in normal time. Head coach Akim Toussaint praised the team's hard work and resilience.
So proud of the guys for that fight and that grit for this entire tournament, even through preparation, going up to Tacarigua day after day after day and putting in that hard work, and to get a silver medal is just a testament to the efforts that we put in from before and during the tournament here at the CAC Games.
Hearty congratulations. Now, in a partnership forged in shared values, defending Caribbean Premier League champions, the Trinbago Knight Riders have secured sponsorship from BPTT for this upcoming season. Tuesday's signing ceremony at the Hyatt Regency in Port of Spain marks BPTT's first national-level sport sponsorship. BPTT Latin America and Caribbean President David Campbell says the partnership reflects the company's commitment to sport and excellence.
And over the years, I've become increasingly impressed by what TKR represents as an organization. Success at this level does not happen by accident. You know, people see the trophies, the victories, and the championships, but behind that success are the values that make sustainable excellence possible. hard work, discipline, commitment, teamwork, and an unwavering drive to be the best. And these values resonate deeply with us at BPTT.
Well, the five-time CPL champions begin their title defense against the St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots in St. Vincent on Saturday. And, of course, you could catch the action live here on CNC3. TNT's national women's under-19 cricket team is ready to begin its campaign at the 2026 CWI Rising Stars Championship that's taking place in Antigua. Ahead of departing for the tournament on Wednesday, the team held its final training session at the National Cricket Centre in Balmain, Couva on Tuesday. There, Captain Samara Ramnath shared her thoughts on the team's preparations and confidence.
Preparation leading up to the tournament has been really well. You know, the conditions in Antigua will be different from what we have been playing on in Trinidad. So I think we really focused on being adaptable, right? Meaning that in training, we focus a lot on different match situations, building partnerships, bowling to different plans, and, you know, sharpening on our fielding. And as a team, we came together to stay patient, assess conditions really quickly, and, you know, making smarter decisions throughout the entire game.
Trinidad and Tobago will host the 30th edition of the Goodwill Swim Meet from August 14th to the 16th at the National Aquatic Centre in Balmain, Couva, which will open its doors to young swimmers from across the region. The Aquatic Sports Association of Trinidad and Tobago held its official launch of the 2026 edition at the Aquatic Centre on Wednesday, where the Sport Company of Trinidad and Tobago's head of partnerships and alliances, Kyron Surrett, spoke of the significance of hosting the event.
Sport is especially proud to support Goodwill 2026 by placing the National Aquatic Centre at the heart of this event. This facility was built to serve the people of Trinidad and Tobago, to develop sporting excellence, and to create opportunities for the next generation of athletes. There is something special about our swimmers having the opportunity to train and compete on a world-class stage right here at home.
Now, this year's team of athletes and officials were paid a special visit by 3 members of Trinidad and Tobago's recent CAC Games 4x100-meter freestyle gold medal quartet. Zarek Wilson, Liam Carrington, and Nikolai Blackman explained how they saw versions of their younger selves in this group.
I have really good memories from those meets, the 3 years that I've been to those, moving on to CURFTA and now CAC. It's a building point.
This Goodwill meet, it built a great foundation for my passion for competing in this sport, and it's just an honor to represent this country, Trinidad and Tobago, so go out there and do your best.
And y'all can make a lot of memories on these teams. I have a lot of memories from Goodwill straight up to now CAC. All of them are fun meets, hanging out with your friends, and just remember, there's no pressure to it, just have fun with it.
Excellent advice. Just have fun. Now, Infantino receives internal support to remain in charge of FIFA, but faces a fight externally. This and WNBA action in tonight's International Roundup.
Following a 4-hour emergency meeting on Wednesday in Rabat, Morocco, internal support remains for FIFA President Gianni Infantino, mounting criticism of his aborted proposal to sell off stakes in future World Cups forced Infantino to summon FIFA management, where he reportedly apologized for errors he made in the controversial plans. Infantino is also said to have received the backing of executives to remain in charge of FIFA. However, externally the saga is far from over. UEFA says FIFA's latest defense of President Infantino has done little to restore confidence, insisting its concerns remain unresolved. UEFA is demanding guarantees that similar proposals are never made again, while several national associations, including England, have already withdrawn support for Infantino ahead of next year's FIFA presidential election. And in the WNBA, the Washington Mystics continued their impressive run with a stunning comeback victory over the Dallas Wings last night. Trailing by 20 points, the Mystics battled to claim their 5th straight win. Shakira Austin led the charge with 27 points and 13 rebounds, while 6 Washington players scored in double figures, matching a franchise record. Samaki Felician, CNC3 Sport.
And now how about a bit of spice for tonight's Sport High?
soca warrior Tyrese Spicer is striking up a bond with French star Antoine Griezmann at Orlando City. In the League's Cup against Monterrey last night, Spicer set up Griezmann with a pinpoint pass. Then after winning a penalty, Griez gave it to the Spice Man, who placed his kick where no keeper could reach. An assist and the goal earned Spicer tonight's CNC3's Sport Eye.
That's it for sport, guys.
Thank you so much, Jesse. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Do enjoy, Stacey. You want some coffee?
Can I have the book?
Perfect then.
That's exactly what we need.
Hey, the pool is this way.
Whatever you're here for, we're here for you. Stay smart at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites.
Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in Trinidad and Tobago, driven by 2 silent threats, diabetes and high cholesterol. But now there's a powerful ally, introducing Berberine Plus by Asia Nutrition, clinically proven to stabilize blood sugar and keep cholesterol levels in check. With 99.9% pure extract, you get superior absorption and real results. Available now at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Berberine Plus, your heart deserves better.
Let's now have a look at tonight's regional roundup.
Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness marked the country's 64th anniversary of independence with a call for national responsibility and resilience. Following widespread damage from Hurricane Melissa, Holness highlighted the creation of the National Reconstruction and Resilience Authority to drive historic rebuilding efforts. A new report from the International Labour Organization warns that the 2026 to 2027 El Niño could devastate jobs across the Caribbean. Drought, water shortages, and severe heat waves are expected to hit agriculture, fisheries, and tourism the hardest. The ILO cautions that outdoor and informal workers face the highest risk of job loss. The Guyanese government is reviewing contracts for the Port Kaituma Wharf project following the tragic MV Barima disaster, which left over 100 people dead or missing. Attorney General Anil Nandal says legal action will be pursued if evidence of negligence is uncovered regarding structural issues at the facility. While search and recovery operations have ended, Nandlal emphasized the police investigation and a commission of inquiry remain ongoing. Jensen Lavend, CNC3 News.
Well, ahead of Independence Day, we ventured across the country asking citizens, what does Trinidad and Tobago mean to you?
Every night, we'll be bringing you one patriotic response. Here's what one person had to say.
So Trinidad and Tobago means a multi-diverse society where food and culture and music brings us together, different race. We have a strong cultural background. The Africans, the Indians, the Chinese, everybody makes Trinidad and Tobago a strong, powerful country. And no matter what, despite the negativity, the positivity always outshines the negative. That's why Trinidad and Tobago is such a blessed country, Yeah.
Those responses always make me smile. Yes. And August is World Steel Pan Month, a month that celebrates our national instrument's cultural heritage, global influence, and role in sustainable development.
This entire month, Pan Trinbago will be hosting events that highlight the steel pan.
And as we leave you tonight, here's a performance by the Pan Elites Steel Orchestra performing Respectfully Yours.
You're watching CNC3.